It started with a hospital hallway, cold, sterile, humming with the sound of fluorescent lights. I was slouched in a plastic chair, staring blankly at the vending machine as if it held some answer to the question I couldn't stop asking myself: how the hell did we get here? My dad was dying. Stage 4 cancer. The kind that creeps in quietly, masks itself as fatigue, back pain, or a lingering cold, until one day it grabs you by the throat and doesn't let go. By the time we found out, the tumors had spread to his lungs and spine. The doctors didn't sugarcoat it. He had months. We didn't have insurance. We didn't have money. Just overdue bills, bad timing, and a hospital bed that was becoming more of a prison with each passing day. Every hour of chemo, every dose of morphine, every scan was another number added to a growing debt I had no idea how we'd ever pay. I tried everything. Crowdfunding pages. Selling off my car. Applying for assistance programs that required paperwork we didn't even have. And through all of it, my dad, strong, proud, stubborn, kept telling me to stop worrying about him. He'd say, "Don't carry my weight, son. Just be here." But it's hard to be present when you feel like the world is caving in. Then, something happened. Something I still don't fully understand. It was a Thursday. I remember because the nurse brought me instant coffee and said, "You look like Thursday feels." I was heading to the billing office again. It had become my daily routine, begging for extensions, asking about options, pretending I understood the medical jargon and financial codes they threw at me. But that day, the woman at the desk looked confused. She tapped at her keyboard, brows furrowed, before finally saying, "Looks like your father's balance is zero." I blinked. "What do you mean, zero?" "His entire file's been cleared. There's no outstanding debt." I asked who paid. She looked again. "Anonymous donor," she said. "Came through late last night. Everything's been taken care of." I thought it was a mistake. A glitch. Maybe some kind of clerical error that would be reversed the next day. I didn't tell my dad yet. I was too afraid it wasn't real. But the debt never came back. Weeks passed. Dad's condition stabilized just enough to get him into a clinical trial. We got a few extra months. Not many, but enough for some laughs, some closure, some peace. He passed away with his hand in mine. Smiling. I didn't know how or why we were given that gift, but I was thankful. I didn't learn the truth until nearly 2 years later. I had taken a job working backstage at a film set. Nothing glamorous, mostly loading equipment, rigging lights, trying to stay invisible and quiet. It was a paycheck. That's all I needed. The shoot was chaotic. One of those high-speed action thrillers with explosions and car chases and actors swearing at each other between takes. I kept my head down. Until the final day, when someone handed me a bag of protein bars and said, "Take these to Statham's trailer." Jason Statham. Yeah, that Jason Statham. The transporter. The mechanic. The guy who could beat up 6 men with a folding chair and still have time to make a witty comeback. I didn't say anything when I knocked. Didn't even expect him to answer. But the door opened, and there he was. Calm. Smaller than I expected, but all presence. I handed him the bag and nodded. "They asked me to drop this off, sir." He took it, smiled faintly, and then squinted at me. "You worked here all week?" he asked. "Yeah." "Name?" "Eli." His eyes lingered on me for a second longer than was comfortable. And then, almost like he was connecting dots only he could see, he nodded slowly. "You're John's boy." I froze. I'm sorry." He stepped back and gestured to a chair in his trailer. "Come in, lad." I didn't know what was happening. My heart was racing. I stepped inside and sat, awkward and tense. He leaned against the counter and looked at me, calm but serious. "I met your dad once. Briefly. Years ago. He worked security on a set in New York. We were filming at night. Some guy came at me outside the lot. Your father stepped in before anyone else did. Didn't think twice. Took a hit for me, actually. I swallowed hard. I had never heard that story. He brushed it off like it was nothing, Statham said. Wouldn't let production file a report. Wouldn't accept money. Just said, part of the job. But I never forgot it. Never forgot him. He looked me dead in the eye. When I heard what happened, I called in a favor. Told the hospital to wipe the slate. No one needed to know. I couldn't speak. I felt something twist in my chest, grief, gratitude, disbelief, all at once. You gave me time with him, I finally said. You gave him peace. He shrugged. He earned it. Just paying a debt. I left that trailer in a daze. Never told anyone on the crew what happened. Never sold the story, never used it for clout or favors. But I carry it with me. Every time someone says the world's gone cold. I remember Jason Statham paying my dad's medical bills in total silence. Not for headlines. Not for applause. Just because someone once took a hit for him, and he never forgot. So the next time you think kindness doesn't exist, that the world is all noise and ego and selfishness, remember this: sometimes, the biggest heroes are the ones you never see coming. And they don't always wear capes. Sometimes, they drive black Autos.